Hi everyone, it's time for writing workshop. We've been working on creating stories using our story maps. And so far we've talked about what to do at the beginning, the middle, and the end, how to put those ideas onto paper and how to stretch our story across multiple pages. Today we're going to talk about what happens after you finish writing the beginning, middle, and end. Now if you're not at this stage, that's okay. You can watch now, finish this when you get to that stage. You'll hear it now and you can apply it when you get to that part of the book, or you can come back and watch this video again if you'd like. So after you finish the beginning, middle, and end, you're on to the cover. I know that's often when we were at school, that was one of the most exciting parts of working on a story, was getting to do the cover. So think about when you look at the cover of a book. Right? It's usually something that's interesting. The picture is interesting, like it catches your attention and makes you want to read the book. The title also is something that kind of lures you in and says to you, you think, oh, that sounds like an interesting book to read. So there's a couple things to keep in mind when you make a title for your book. You don't want it to be super long and have too many words. Otherwise, it's just too much and someone might not even stop to read all of that. So your title should be just a few words. You could think about making it exciting. It should somehow relate to your story. Since my story was about skiing, it wouldn't make sense to have a title that was something like My Day at the Beach. Right? That wouldn't make sense. So think about how to make it exciting, pull your readers in, maybe a mystery or a question, add some feelings. So I was thinking about my story. When I did the story map, I had one idea, and I said I could name this book The Hard Trail. I want you to think of at least 3 ideas before you pick one. So that's one of my ideas, The Hard Trail. Another idea I thought of was I could make it kind of like a mystery, like a question, and say, what should I do? Remember I had that point in the middle where I had to decide whether to go down the trail or not. So I could use that moment and make it a title, What Should I Do? I thought of how proud I was at the end, and I could call my book, I Did It. And maybe folks want to read to see, what did I do, right? What? I did it? And they're thinking, what? What did she do? And they want to read, it makes them want to read the book. I could also call it The Best Day Ever, because it was a really great day. It was the best day. I could call it The Best Day Ever. I could call it The Ski Day. Or I could call it The Problem on the Mountain. Like I had a problem I had to try and solve, figure out what to do. So, or I could call it something like The Big Decision. Like I had to really make a big decision. So think about different titles that you could use for your book. Ahead of time, I decided I would call it I Did It. And people might wonder, what did I do? And want to read my book. I tried to make an interesting picture. I didn't add any color to it, but that's something that I think you would want to do, is add some color and make it really interesting, make it exciting so that folks would want to read that book. And then you're down to the, oh, by the way, I don't know if I told you, but the title of your book was at the top, and I think you could tell because I pointed that out, but this word here says title, so your title goes at the top. Down here it says written and illustrated by, and written, who is the author of this book? Illustrated, who wrote the pictures, who's the illustrator? That's you, so your name goes on this line. Okay, so your title goes at the top, your name goes at the bottom, and you add an interesting picture in the middle. So before you go ahead and write any old title, I want you to keep those things that I told you in mind. Not too long. Think about maybe if you could make it a mystery. Can you add excitement? Can you add feelings? How can you make people want to read your book by creating an interesting title? Okay. So when you're at that stage, whether it be today or another day, I want you to come up with 3 different options for the title of your book before you go ahead and pick one. Okay? So I want you to go ahead and work on your book's whatever stage you're at. You could be already finished with one book and you're ready to do a new story map and start over again. I no longer know where you are in this process, so you're going to have to decide each day what stage you're at. You know how to do a story map. You know how to do a beginning, you know how to do a middle, and you know how to do an end, and then you know how to do a cover. After you finish your cover, You staple your book all together and it's finished. So I want you to think about where you're at in that process and go ahead and keep working on your current book. Okay? Spend about 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes with writing today. And the magic word for today is sunshine. So when you get your things out and get settled, either you can tell yourself sunshine and know that it's time to get down to work, or ask someone in your family to give you the magic word. Okay, have a great writing session.